Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for WWE NXT UK. But before I get into that, I know it's been a little bit since I've really done any reviews and stuff, and I'm behind on some stuff, but I've just been busy with work and other things like that, packing for my trip to North Carolina. So I've just been a little bit too busy to get some of these videos done. But I have a goal. I'm going to try to get all of this stuff done, before I go on my trip on Wednesday. So that way, I don't have to worry about the fact that I didn't get it done, pretty much. So that's basically the goal. But now that I've kind of talked about that, let's get right into this episode of WWE NXT UK. And like I said, this is the disclaimer for people that are going to comment. I haven't seen, anything past this point of NXT UK with anything WWE related. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. So let's get right into the video. So this is episode of NXT UK took place on May 29th, 2019, and this was episode 45. We had the commentary team of Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph, and the show opens right off with a promo segment with Walter, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Bartel, which made sense considering how the last episode ended with them standing tall and having Walter's big heel turn, after beating Pete Dunne to retain his WWE and United Kingdom title. I thought it made sense for this to open the show. And I really liked how they really built this. Like, before Marcel Bartel even said anything, the crowd was already booing him. They were chanting Bruiserweight, that they wanted Pete Dunne. And then Marcel Bartel says that they're here to educate people and show people real traditional style of British wrestling. And Fabian Eichner then grabs the mic and says that, Pete Dunne couldn't take this brand to the next level, and he talks about how Mustache Mountain can't do that. And then Walter grabs the mic and says that from this day going forward, they're going to be known as Imperium. I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but, obviously when I see them more, I'll know that. And he says that they're here to take over NXT UK, pretty much. And then Pete Dunne's music hits, and he comes out with Mustache Mountain, all being British Strong style. And they hit the ring, and Imperium and British Strong style get into a brawl. And I really like this brawl because it just felt legitimate. Like, even during this segment, one of the cameramen goes down, and like the camera just, pretty much shuts down and everything. And that was basically it. Like, no one really got anything over on each other. And I really like this because it's just kind of like this out of control type of brawl that we really like to see. And it was just a chaotic way to start off the show. And I like this. I like that they're setting up, British Strong Style and Imperium. I'm not exactly sure, what they're going to, well, we know exactly what they're going to set up from this, but as in terms of the future. Because then we find out Sid Scala gets interviewed by Radzi backstage, and he announces that in 2 weeks, which is not, the next episode, but this week episode coming up for NXT UK, it's going to be a 6-man tag team match, British Strong Style versus Imperium. Which sucks, because I'm going to be in North Carolina doing that match, so I'm going to miss that match. But luckily, I got the WWE Network, and I can just go back and rewatch it. But it's going to have to be a while before I can watch it, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, I thought all this was a win here, and I really like how they're setting up like a big match with Imperium and British Strong Style. I really can't wait to see it. Even afterwards, like on WWE.com, British Strong Style talked about how they, started this brand and they still rule this brand, and they're going to beat the shit out of Imperium, so I really liked it. But then we had the first actual match on the show. It was Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Carlos Romo and A-Kid, pretty much an enhancement tag team. And I thought this was, a nice enhancement match to really put over Gallus, things like that. Wolfgang was absolutely, out of control and chaotic in this match, really wanted to fight everybody. Mark Coffey had a really cool chokeslam on one of the guys, and Wolfgang hits a really cool side senton, which I thought was cool. And then eventually, one of the guys goes for a hard tag, but Mark Coffey just takes his head off with an axe handle, and Wolfgang and Mark Coffey hit a power slam insecurity combination for the win, and then that was pretty much it. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey win, which makes sense because you really want to build them up. And yeah, that was that. Afterwards, though, you did see, when A-Kid and Carlos Romo were being interviewed, you saw Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews come up and congratulate them for the impressive performance. So I don't know if this is building up to a match between Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews versus Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, or if this is just going to build to a match with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews with Carlos Romo and A-Kid. So that'd be interesting. But I thought all this was a win. I really liked it. I really liked how out of control Wolfgang was acting in this match, so I liked it. And then we had Xia Brookside get interviewed, and she talks about the attack that she received from Ginny and Jazzy Gabbard. Talked about how it was cowardly and how Ginny can't face her face to face. And then Isla Dawn walks up and says that she couldn't help overhear that she has problems, and when they face each other in the match, they really made magic with each other. But now they want to see what they could do if they teamed up. So they're going to go talk tag team strategies, and that was that. I really wish they did Candy Floss instead, because I really wanted to see Candy Floss and Xia Brookside be the tag team instead, but whatever. I get why they don't want to do that, I guess, right now, because, Isla Dawn's got more star power than Candy Floss at the moment, and I don't think Candy Floss at the moment signed a contract, so that's not going to happen. So, yeah. But yeah, we're going to get a future match between Ginny and Jazzy Gabbard versus Xia Brookside and Isla Dawn, which is just going to be a nice, easy tag team for them to beat, so whatever. I really didn't care about this. And then Joseph Connors does an interview, or not an interview, but one of those selfie promos. And I even like how he says how I typically don't do one of these, but he talks about how Ilya Dragunov came in with such fanfare and is seen as one of the best technical wrestlers of all time. But that's before he comes face to face with Joseph Connors, and that was pretty much it. But I like this though; it's a nice way to set up a match between them. I actually want to see a match between Ilya Dragunov and Joseph Connors. I think that could be a hell of a match, so I'm actually looking forward to that. And then it showed a little build-up video package for the Fatal 4-Way match coming up on the next episode, which was this recent episode of NXT UK. And all the competitors that are in there, building them up to win, being Joe Coffey, Jordan Devlin, Dave Mastiff, and Travis Banks. So there you go. I liked it, though. I thought it was a nice way to build up each competitor in the match, and kind of a nice refresh for everyone that, didn't watch the build-ups and the qualifying matches. Then we had my favorite match on the show, Cassius Ohno versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher. I thought this was a really good technical matchup here. You had Gallagher and Ohno start off the match by just having a friendly technical wrestling match with each other. With, Gallagher doing a bicycle onto Cassius Ohno's shoulder blades. Cassius Ohno getting him into a wicked full Nelson, and then he had a wicked clothesline right onto Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Gentleman Jack Gallagher ended up getting tied up by Cassius Ohno, and they just really put on a technical clinic in the beginning. They do the whole thing where Jack Gallagher's hanging upside down, and Cassius Ohno goes to run into him, and Gallagher kicks him right in the shoulders. They just had a really good competitive technical match with each other. But eventually Gallagher ties himself up and wants Cassius Ohno to go for some type of lockup, but Cassius Ohno hits a wicked right hand right to the head, and he dominates Gallagher for a while, and he gets him into a wicked armbar, but then Gallagher loses control. He ended up getting busted open too, because Cassius Ohno ended up hitting a wicked right hand on him, which is a discus elbow pretty much, and Gallagher hits some wicked shots to the back of the head, but then eventually Cassius Ohno hits a big boot on Gallagher, but then Gallagher starts to mount a comeback when Cassius Ohno goes for the the neck breaker into the elbow. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. But Gallagher headbutts him, and he starts to target the elbow of Cassius Ohno, which I thought was nice. Hit some really nice drop kicks right onto which is vicious, and then eventually Gallagher hits a headbutt, but Cassius Ohno ends up falling in like a senton position and ends up like doing like an inverted low blow right onto Gallagher, which I thought was a nice spot. And Cassius Ohno goes for the cover, Gallagher kicks out, and then they both start exchanging forearms on each other, and then eventually Cassius Ohno hits a discus elbow, covers Gallagher, but Gallagher's foot's on the rope, but the ref doesn't see. He still makes a 3 count anyways, and after the bell, when the ref wins the bell, Cassius Ohno nonchalantly takes Gallagher's foot from under the rope just to make it look like it was never there to begin with, and then that was it. At first, I hated the finish because I thought it was a fuck finish, but I actually think the finish makes sense with Cassius Ohno's character, because his host character is like he's the best pure British wrestler on the planet, and the fact that he's winning with these types of shenanigans actually makes sense for his character, so I actually liked it. And Cassius Ohno did a good promo afterwards, and I actually like this run of Cassius Ohno right here. I think what it was, too, was Cassius Ohno in NXT, just regular NXT, really wasn't working because he was kind of like, a small fish in a big pond, and now he's like pretty much a kind of a big fish in a small pond. He has a gimmick that actually fits his what he's doing, and he actually is able to actually showcase his talents and such. So I liked it. And then Piper Niven gets interviewed. This was just more build up to the eventual Rhea Ripley match, which we don't know if it's ever going to happen. So whatever. I like the feud and stuff, but it just feels like that they've kind of waited too long to do the match at this point. I just want them to do it. But then we had the main event. It was the NXT UK Women's Championship match. NXT UK Women's Champion Toni Storm versus Nina Samuels. I thought this was a pretty good main event. I enjoyed it. Nina Samuels is consistently showing off. So Toni Storm just takes her head off with a big boot, and she gets the advantage early in the matchup. She attacks Nina Samuels in the corner, but then eventually the ref's pulling her back, and Nina Samuels hits a wicked big boot right onto Toni Storm, and she dominates the matchup for a while, and really takes control, but then eventually Toni Storm mounts a comeback. She hits a really cool German suplex out of the corner, and really starts to go off on Nina Samuels, but then eventually Nina Samuels hits a really cool tiltable backbreaker. It was very inverted too, which I liked. But then eventually Toni Storm hits the headbutt and just falls onto the cover, but Nina Samuels still kicks out. Nina Samuels hits a really cool missile drop kick off the top turnbuckle, but Toni Storm still kicks out of that. And Toni Storm hits another headbutt and hits the single-armed 2 in a row suplexes into the Storm Zero for the win, and Toni Storm retains the title. It was a pretty good match. I forgot to mention, too, Nina Samuels actually pulled a corkscrew splash, like a springboard corkscrew splash, too, in the match, which was cool. But it was a pretty cool, good match. I would give it like 3 1/4 if I was doing star ratings. What hurt the match was you knew that Nina Samuels didn't have a chance of winning the championship, but other than that, I still thought it was a pretty good match. And we saw on WWE.com that Kaylee Ray was watching the matchup, backstage. I actually kind of thought that was a innovative way to kind of show that. She kind of pulled the curtain and showed that she was watching it. So I'm assuming they're going to do, Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray next, which I actually really want to see that. I think that could be an awesome match. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm enjoying Toni Storm as NXT UK Women's Champion. She's putting on some solid matches and such, and that was it. But that was NXT UK. I thought it was a really good episode, not a great episode, but I thought it was really good. I really liked, how it just built future matches like Ilya Dragunov and Joseph Connors, Piper Niven versus Rhea Ripley, hopefully. But I also thought it had some, really good to solid matches like, Cassius Ohno, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, the NXT UK Women's title match. And I also really liked how they built to the British Strong Style Imperium 6-man tag team match on the show. That was probably my favorite thing on the show. So, really good episode. I'll give it a B. Really good episode. that's pretty much the end of this review. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers. Now, I'm talking to the YouTube channels because I did some videos on there as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.